had a good day in office. No damages, no moments, just in the road.
Nicholas Ryan and Jeff Tyrer must be very pleased with their debut performance behind the wheel of the Avis Fleet Services Gabriel Volkswagen Polo as they survived a tough day one in ninth.
This Avis car is unbelievable.
But Ryan will have his work cut out on day two as the Total Evolution Toyota Ranix of Fernando Rueda and Dave Lefkowitz is breathing down his neck, only 1.5 seconds back in 10th.
We've settled down quite well. That was much better time. It's all looking a lot nicer.
Mohamed Musa and Grant Martin were still finding their feet in the new Total Evolution Toyota Ranix. But unfortunately for Musa, he slid wide in stage 4. This incident set the sugarcane on fire. They managed to get the car out of harm's way, but Musa's debut in Class S2000 was over.
A 4.1 second lead for Enzo Kuhn at the top of the leaderboard, while less than 17 seconds separate Marc Ronier in third and Charles Wilkin in seventh. Enzo Kuhn is now leading the Total Tour Natal, but first on the leaderboard also means first on the road for day 2.
We figured out that we have to give away at least 20 seconds to gain a position, meaning to drop down, not be first on the road for tomorrow.
Hargen Feckend is second but satisfied with his position.
It's just easier when there is some brake marks and lines in the corner, so I prefer to be second on the road tomorrow.
It's day 2 of the Total Tour Natal, the first round of the 2010 Sasol South African Rally Championship. The rally now moves down the coast to Virgin Rally roads in and around Scottburgh and Umzinto on the KwaZulu-Natal south coast. It's the day that will decide who the first winner of 2010 is going to be, and the day that will set the tone for the rest of the season. Day 2 of the Total Tour Natal consists of 4 special stages, each to be repeated once for a total of 8 stages that will cover 111 kilometres. Stage 5 is a 13-kilometre test on fresh and extremely slippery gravel roads on the edge of Scottburgh. As with many other stages on the Total Tour Natal, Romanel requires precision driving, with high sugarcane just waiting to swallow anyone who puts a wheel wrong.
It is now a straight fight between the country's top rally drivers, as rally leaders Enzo Kuhn and Guy Hodgson have to fulfill the role of road sweepers and set the first benchmark time of 10 minutes and 8 seconds on stage 5.
No, it's very slippery. That stage is very slippery.
Hargen Fecken and Pierre Aries are masters of making a move early on during the second day of an event. Fecken needs more than 4 seconds to overtake his BP Ultimate teammate. The finish is already in sight, and yes, he wins the stage by 8 seconds to retake the rally lead.
Yeah, it's extremely slippery. There's a lot of loose pebbles on the surface.
Marc Ronier and Robert Paisley crashed out of the lead on this event just 12 months ago. The Castrol Toyota Auris driver has made it clear that he intends to finish this time round. So his time of 10 minutes and 29 seconds was a conservative one.
I misjudged 2 calls and I overshot, so I had to stop in reverse. My mistake.
The ProDrive Subaru Impreza of Konrad Rotenbach was now on a charge and had 3rd place in its sights. A time of 10 minutes and 10 seconds was enough to overtake Ronier and move into 3rd by a full 12 seconds.
No, it's still really loose, but yeah, it's hard work.
With 2 of the BP Volkswagens leading the rally, Johnny Gemmel and Drew Starrock had no choice but to launch their attack on day 2. The Castrol Toyota Auris was flying. Jan Habig and Ralph Pitchford took a long time to reach the end of stage 5. Clearly, there was a problem.
Yeah, we went past Johnny. He's rolled on a tight left-hand right and he's blocking the road. So we're going to go to the sugarcane, down that ditch and up again. So we lost quite a bit of time there.
Inside the Basil Reed Bizub, Ford Fiesta, Charles Wilkin and Greg Godrich were confident about a strong showing on day 2. But they too had troubles getting past the stricken Auris and lost valuable time.
Ja, ek het baie stadig al verby gery. Dit is nog moeilik om op by te kom.
Yeah, not good for us at all. We started off, felt pretty good. Car was going nicely. We made some changes yesterday, but came to a slow corner. First gear, I just went inside a little bit too much. There was a hump on the inside, lifted the car onto two wheels and then on the roof and on the side. That was it.
With Gemmel out of the event, Japie van Niekerk and Robin Houghton already moved up a position, but the new Africa Developments driver was quick to capitalize on the situation.
Double caution, yeah. Going right, far right.
With Gemmel's stricken Oris sort of out the way, van Niekerk got past fairly quickly and set the second fastest time of all to move into 5th position. The Total Evolution Toyota Runnix of Fernando Rueda and Dave Lefkowitz set a decent time, moving past their rivals Nicholas Ryan and Jeff Tyra in the Avis Gabriel Volkswagen Polo to take over 8th position overall. The Salom Group Polo of Tiens Hubert and Carl Peskin also benefited from Gemmel's retirement by moving into the top 10.
The leaderboard changes drastically after stage 5, with Fecken taking over the lead from teammate Kuhn. Rotenbach passes Cronje for 3rd, while the name Gemmel disappears from the leaderboard altogether. Van Niekerk gains 3 positions, but Habig and Wilken both lose a spot. After the break, the Total Tour Natal reaches boiling point as the fight for supremacy continues. Who will last the Total Tour Natal? Defending champions Hergen Fecken and Pierre Aris have just taken over the lead from BP Ultimate Volkswagen teammates Enzo Kuhn and Guy Hodgson, but there's still a long way to go. Stage 5 was immediately followed by Stage 6, where stage sponsors Gabriel put up a great aerial aerobatics display for the large crowds. The Gabriel Pitts special team, led by aviation legend Scully Levine, masterfully flew their planes through the fresh South Coast air, while on the ground another masterful display of driving skills was about to be displayed.
Enzo Kuhn and Guy Hodgson have just relinquished the lead on the stage before, and in an effort to make up time, the Cape Townian pushed a little too hard and overshot a corner. There was no damage, but nearly 30 seconds were lost.
We went off over a crest and just flat out into the sugarcane, so it took us a long time to get back to the road. Lost 15, 20 seconds there.
This is exactly the opportunity that Fecken and Aris were waiting for. As with the stage before, the BP Ultimate driver pushed hard and extended his overall lead over Keen to a full 33 seconds. Mark Cronje was now settling into a rhythm and set the second fastest time in the Castrol Toyota Auris in his efforts to close the gap to third-placed Rotenbach. Jan Habig and Ralph Pitchford were back up to speed after their earlier troubles by setting the 3rd fastest time. But an honest mistake by Pitchford, which saw them clock in 2 minutes too early into service, landed them a 2-minute penalty and dropped them right down the leaderboard. The Pertec Toyota Auris of Hein Latergan and Johan van der Merwe also recovered from an eventful day 1 to set the 4th fastest time, an indication of what is to come from Latergan over the next few events. The Pertec Auris managed to beat the new Africa Developments one of Japie van Niekerk and Robin Houghton by a mere 1.2 seconds, who in turn managed to close the gap to Conrad Rotenbach and Peter Marsh by a single 10th of a second. Charles Wilken and Greg Godrich were now lying 6th overall and within striking distance with a Basil Reed Bizzup Ford Fiesta.
Stages 7 and 8 are again run without any service in between, and combined they add another 22 kilometers to the rally route. It's also the last of the new stages for the day, as after these 2, the crews will repeat the exact same stages to finish the event.
Enzo Kuhn's mishap on the stage before took the sting out of the battle with teammate Fecken, who in turn made good use of this last virgin stage to increase his lead by a further 6 seconds. Kuhn will undoubtedly launch a full-blown attack over the repeat stages, but for now, Fecken has a comfortable lead of 39 seconds.
No cut, no cut.
Mark Cronje and Robert Paisley started the day in 3rd, but have since lost the final podium position to the Subaru of Conrad Rotenbach and Peter Marsh. On stage 7, the Castrol Toyota Auris closed the gap by 3 seconds to trail the Zimbabwean by just 2.1 seconds. On stage 8, Cronje really opened up the taps and recorded his first stage win of the event. More importantly, Rotenbach was 6 seconds slower and had no choice but to hand over his 3rd position to the Flying Auris. Japie van Niekerk and Robin Houghton were quietly sneaking in very fast and consistent times as ever. After the completion of both stages 7 and 8, the New Africa Development's Toyota Auris found itself in a very respectable 5th position, just 12 seconds behind Cornier.
The 8 here. Crest left 5 into caution. Crest side and right 7. Left 5 here. Caution crest right 7 here. And left 5.
Charles Wilken and Greg Godwich were feeling more and more confident behind the left-hand drive wheel of the Basil Reed Bizub Ford Fiesta. Wilken was on a comeback trail after losing time early in the day, and the 3rd fastest time on stage 8 put him within striking distance of the battle ahead.
It's getting slightly better, but it's tough.
South African rallying was looking at its absolute best with a new manufacturer, a very exciting car from M Sport in England, new sponsors, but the worst possible thing that could have happened just did.
It's a very sad end. We had very bad luck in the last 2 events. Last one last year now. We're driving down the open section and obviously we don't know what happened. We smelled smoke, looked back and the whole back of the car was on fire. And extinguishers didn't help, and by then, probably within 30 seconds our car's gone. And that's the end of that. Very sad for Ford, for our sponsors. We don't know where to from here.
The rally fraternity wishes them luck and hope that the Basil Reed Bizub Ford team will find a way to return to rallying. Back on the stages, the battle between the Avis Gabriel Polo of Nicholas Ryan and Jeff Tyrer and the Total Evolution Toyota Runex of Fernando Rueda and Dave Lefkowitz was as fierce as ever. These two rivals were trading blows on every stage, and after stage 8, the difference was a mere 7 seconds in Ryan's favor. Behind their battle, another one was forming between the Automark Toyota Runex of Skalk Burger Jr. and Armand de Tooy and the Total Evolution version of JP Damso and Caroline Swan. It's only Burger's 2nd national event behind the wheel of the S2000, and the former Northern Regions champion was driving well, but he now had a determined Damso breathing down his neck. Damso is recovering from a terrible 2009 and completed stages 8 in 10th position overall, less than 5 seconds behind the Automark car of Burger.
Fecken's lead is now an almost unassailable 42 seconds over teammate Kuhn, while Cornier occupies 3rd ahead of the charging Rotenbach and Van Niekerk. Wilken's name will sadly disappear from the leaderboard. Only 4 stages remain in the 2010 Total Tour Natal. It was time to jockey for final positions. A top 10 on any round of the Sasol South African Rally Championship is a fantastic achievement, especially on such a tough event as the Total Tour Natal. And the points that come with a good result will go a long way for the rest of the demanding season that lies ahead.
Namibian driver Jaco van Dijk and co-driver Henny Boertes were chasing their first ever finish in the top S2000 class, but his efforts came to a halt with a broken accelerator. Versatile motorsportsmen Evan Hutchison and Alvin Coetzee had a baptism of fire behind the wheel of the Motorrad Volkswagen Polo. Hutchison is the current Class A7 champion, but as the jump from an A7 two-wheel drive to four-wheel drive S2000 machine is a huge one, Hutchison opted for a safe approach. Mechanical troubles earlier in the event didn't help either, but the Special Vehicles off-road champion still managed to reach the end of his debut S2000 rally in a respectable 11th overall. The fight for 10th turned into a battle between the Salon Group Polo of Tien Schubert and Carl Peskin and the Automark Toyota of Skalk Burger Jr. and Armand de Tooy. Burger entered stage 10 with a 10-second advantage over Hubert, but disaster was about to strike. Just minutes after Burger entered stage 10, Mohamed Moussa and Grant Martin, who was back in the rally under Super Rally rules, also started the stage. As Moussa neared the end of the stage, he unknowingly passed the Automark Runex of Burger at the side of the road. Moments later, this happened. Total Evolution Runex came to rest just meters away from where the Automark Runex ended after hitting the same bank. It was a hair-raising reminder of just how dangerous rallying can be, as Burger and de Tooy initially landed upside down and almost fully submerged in the water. Fortunately, there were 4 spectators nearby who bravely jumped in and somehow managed to turn the Runex on its side, rescuing Burger and de Tooy in the nick of time.
Top corner, drifted a little bit wide with the back of the wheel. and basically clipped up, and I think we went end over end. I've been told we went end over end. I don't really know. I know it didn't stop for a long time. That's all I know.
Both navigators were fortunate to escape serious injury. Musa suffered a broken shoulder, while the injuries to Skalkberger were more serious. But he is recovering well. The rally fraternity wish them all a speedy recovery. Back on the final few stages, Tiens Hubert and Carl Peskin drove superbly to bring the Salon Blue Polo home in a well-deserved 10th position overall.